What's up, folks? This is Dan from Discern. Welcome to episode number 8 of the Discern Recap, where I blab about some of my favorite new albums, EPs, and singles that come from the broad category of Christian music. This show releases every Wednesday, bringing you new music recommendations. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, you want to be on the cutting edge, be sure to subscribe to this channel. If you want to get involved in the show, you can comment below. You could tweet at me at discernreviews. You could send me an email, discernreviews@gmail.com. Don't be shy. Let me know what new music have you been excited about recently? What albums, EPs, or singles would you recommend? It's been a busy week, only getting busier for me, so let's not waste any time. Start the recommendations right now. Hurry. First recommendation, The Rocket Summer, Zoetic. I'm going to say Zoetic. The Rocket Summer is the solo work of Bryce Avery, who has been cranking out albums since the early 2000s. From what I know and from what I can only assume for this new album, he writes and performs all the instruments. He's a multi-instrumentalist who does it all, which makes this new record all the more impressive. Like, it almost seems impossible that one person could do all this. Like, it all existed up in his head, and he, instrument by instrument, just pieced it together to form these songs. These songs are incredibly frantic and spazzy. It's like Bryce's ADD, presumably, is spilling out all over these tracks. For 40 minutes, this album takes almost no breaks. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't ease up. It's an energetic little puppy. The textures and the tones utilized throughout the album, too, were something I really enjoyed. The track Same Air features a rhythm guitar that sounds more like an organ. Honestly, it's something like you'd hear from the band Rat-a-Tat. Just something odd and out there, but yet very cool. Distorted, squealy guitar leads. A lot of rock star screams and shouts. A lot of those. Even some falsetto accents like the Newsboys used to do back in the early 90s. Honestly, there's a good number of early 90s Newsboys similarities here. Like when it comes to how quirky and theatrical the performances are. Another thing I loved on this album is the complexity and syncopation you get from the drums and the percussion, or even at times from the guitars or the bass. In fact, it's a sound that so defines and shapes the feel of the music that when it straightens out and becomes mostly a thump EDM kick drum, like on the track Rule of Thirds Kind of Life, it definitely loses a little something. That characteristic energy just dissipates too much. So if you're looking for an album that blends pop and rock in a fresh, exciting, and frankly odd way, definitely check this out. It will most assuredly hold your attention because it's changing so fast. It's bouncing from one idea to the other, so active you don't really have a chance to get bored. 3 tracks I would recommend. Some of my favorites to get you started. The track Help Me Out. Another one, FLCA, Florida, California, for you dummies. And Emergency Landings, the closer on the album. Next recommendation, R.M.M, or Renaissance Movement Music, with their album Lions in Suits. Renaissance Movement Music, kind of a mouthful, is a rap trio from Virginia. They are Nigel Anderson, aka Legion, the founder of the group, Mike Bell, who is too cool for a nickname, and Jermaine Morris, aka Cyanide. These guys have individual albums all under their belt, and this record here is their second compilation together. This album wasn't all good. There were some eye-rolling moments for sure, but the production on this thing was so heavy, and for the most part so slamming, that it gets a recommendation in my book. Let's get some of the downsides out of the way first. Some of the instrumentals here, some are flat and uninteresting, nothing special, nothing of note, like on the track Without You. And taking the whole album in looking at this track in context, I don't think it really belongs. It's a pop rap EDM beat, atmospheric synths going on. It's not their specialty. That's not their signature sound by any means. There's also some hooks, like on the track Hands High, where I just feel like they could try harder. The hook, it just felt like a first draft. I get what they're trying to say, but I felt like you can do better than that. I mean, you obviously have done much better on the verses throughout. But let's get to the good stuff. This album kicks off with really great R&B vocals from Laquan Green, who actually did a lot of the production on this album. So hats off to you, dude. It's really good. Beautiful start to the album. Slowly brings you in, building a bit towards the end, gets a little darker towards the end, more full. And then the track Why I Do It kicks off, and you see the production these guys are capable of. The kick drum is pummeling. There's swirling, wavy synth filling in the background. The whole instrumental is just nice and dense and full. And on the back half of this album, you get tracks like Ain't Worried, All It Is, and Spurgeon Theory. They just employ this hefty dose of massive bass, chaotic production, tangible energy, which, speaking of energy, this album is full of speedy flows, verse after verse. I don't think I even picked up on like at least half of the lyrics here. That's how fast some of these were coming. They spit a lot at you with precision and quickness, and you're the one who's got to keep up, frankly. So production-wise, I thought most of this record was phenomenal, was big, beefy, full trap sounds. A lot of times trap is too sparse, too empty, and these guys filled in all the gaps. It was awesome. Like I said, lyrically, some hits, some misses, but production-wise, definitely worth checking this thing out. 3 tracks that I would recommend, tracks I enjoyed. Why I Do It, which is, like I said, the second track. It's the one that really kicks the album off. The track Ain't Worried, which I think was their single, and the final track on the album, There He Go. So give that one a listen. Definitely recommend it. Last recommendation, Crimson Moonlight with their album Divine Darkness. Crimson Moonlight is a black metal band from Sweden. Now stay with me. Stay with me, non-metal heads. Stick around here. I'm coming close. Hopefully, I can help you understand what I found so compelling here and maybe help you gain a small appreciation for it. Black metal is especially hard for non-metal fans to get into. It's very harsh, very noisy, very dark. And Swedish black metal, oh, that's the most vicious of all. You can look it up. Swedish black metal bands and death metal bands have done some sick stuff over the years. And I don't mean sick in any sort of cool way. Sick like burning churches and killing people. So a Christian black metal band from Sweden, how those fit together, this must be a bunch of faker chumps, right? Not so much. Not so much. I think these guys who have been a band since the late 90s can hold their own. And this new record here, Divine Darkness, it is packed with harsh, brittle screaming, noisy, flailing guitars, racing, furious drumming, especially in that kick drum. Holy cow, that dude can play fast. The album kicks off right away with distorted, screaming lead vocals. Gets you right in the mood, for better or for worse, I guess, because if you're turned off by that, you better get out fast, because once this train gets rolling, it rarely slows down. When they do slow down, honestly, I think that's actually when they're at their worst, when these guys try to be more melodic, or they try to be a little more delicate. These guys flourish in the chaos and the madness. Take the track The Suffering, a single which they, I think, released like over a year ago. As the song comes to a climax at the end, it sounds almost as if someone is slowly and continuously turning up the gain of the entire track, getting more distorted, more fuzzy, more blown out and overpowered. It's just louder and louder. It's like they're trying to push the limit of physical sound waves. Now, unfortunately, it ends with a very corny explosion sound. But it was quite the ride getting there, nonetheless. The lyrics from these guys, from Crimson Moonlight, are kind of a typical affair for black metal, thick with imagery, grand, ornate descriptions, overly dark and despairing, very liturgical as well. These guys are evangelical Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox theology, very liturgical. The lyrics come across fairly nonsensical because, look, either I'm just too dumb to get it, or they're throwing way too many adjectives and adverbs around to clearly articulate what they're trying to say. But that's not why I enjoyed the album, not the lyrics. I just enjoyed the raw energy and the raw energy and the fury that permeates the album, all the way to the last track too, which kicks off with another spine-tingling scream, a blast of guitar noise and speed metal-like drums. I love the sound that these guys have, and I will admit they're definitely a bit one-dimensional. When they try to be even the least bit delicate, it loses all of its character, it loses all its personality. These guys do one thing well, so you can look at that in the negative or the positive. Their sound is truly ear-filling, and they throw a lot at you. It's like the louder you listen to this record, the longer the coma it will put you in. Obviously that's a joke, but good black metal, I feel like, should have a bit of an aftertaste. It sticks with you a bit. Heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff. So give it a try. Let it kick you around for a bit. It's good for you. It balances out all that sugary electro pop that, look, I love to listen to it too. It's a nice balance, yin and the yang. With that, we come to the end of the show. Thank you for watching the Discern Recap. Thank you for staying to the end if you're still here. Please subscribe if you enjoy this content. If you're still here, I assume you enjoy this content, so please subscribe if you like what you're hearing. This show releases every Wednesday, new music recommendations every week. And if you have a particular album that you've been enjoying, let me know. If you have some new music coming out, if you yourself have new music, or if you know of some new music, you want to send it over to me, do it. You can comment below. You could tweet at me at discernreviews. You could email me, discernreviews@gmail.com. Of the songs I mentioned, did you listen to any of these? What did you think of them? Whatever you got to say, black metal or otherwise, I hope to hear from you. So, anyway, hope this helped. See ya.